On this video, I'm going to show you how to select elements within dropdowns. So you can change the value here. For example, I'm going to change it to Germany and all this data is going to load. Okay, before I start with this explanation, I have to make a note here. The type of dropdown that we're going to select in this video is some dynamic dropdown, because if you click on it, for example, I change to another value, the link doesn't change, but only the content. I believe these kind of dropdowns are built with Ajax. I'm not so familiar with that, but in any case, these dropdowns helps the website to load all the data dynamically. So I'm gonna inspect on this element to see the code behind this dropdown. So as you can see here, this is the code, and if I try to inspect on the elements inside the dropdown, let me see if it's possible. So here I can't do it. If I try to open the dropdown first and then inspect, I lose the dropdown. So this is other kind of behavior that these kind of dropdowns have. With the traditional dropdowns, you can just apply what we've learned so far and just inspect the element you want and locate the element and then click on the element as we did before on the clicking on a button section. But in this case, we're going to use a different approach. So here on PyCharm, we write from selenium.webdriver.support and then .ui. I know this is a bit long, but you can just copy it and paste it from the cheat sheet that I include in this course. And here I'm going to write select. So this is what we're going to use to tackle this kind of dropdown. So here we inspected the element before, and let's see how we can locate this element. So here we have a class and we have multiple values, and fortunately here we can see that there is an ID with the name set to country. So probably this one will have an ID league and this one will have an ID season. So let's locate this country dropdown. So I'm gonna copy this ID. And now back to PyCharm. Here I'm gonna open a space here for the dropdown part. And now I'm gonna write select, which is what we imported here. And I'm gonna open parentheses. And now we can write the usual code we've been writing so far. So something like this. So we write driver dot find element. So in this case, we found an ID, so we're going to just find element by ID. And inside parentheses, I open single quotes and write country. So as you can see here, this is the usual stuff, but we have to include this inside select. This is what you have to do every time you see this kind of dropdown. So now I'm going to set this to a variable name dropdown. So now once we selected this, we can choose the element we want to select. So here there are many countries. So let's say that we want to choose now the element Spain. So here we write dropdown that, and there are different ways to get that element. So we can do it by index, by value, and by visible text. The index, as I told you before, it's just the position it's located. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, and so on. We can do it also by the visible text, and I think this is the easiest one here. So we're going to select by visible text. So now I'm going to open quotes and write here Spain. So with this, what Selenium is going to do is click here and then click on Spain. And as you see, every time we change this option, the website takes a couple of seconds to render the results. So I'm going to do it one more time. And now you can see this loading stats message. So sometimes if that goes slow, that can make our code to break, because the bot we built with Selenium scripts the data fast and if it doesn't find the data, it's gonna throw an error saying that the element wasn't found. So to deal with this, we have to use weights. I'm going to explain you weights in more detail later, but I can show you the most basic way to create weights. So we have to import time. So we're going to use the time library here, and we have to use the sleep method. So after we click on the country, as we've seen before, the page is going to show a message that says loading page, and it's going to take like a couple of seconds. So we're going to do time.sleep. In here, we're going to set the seconds we want this code to wait before it executes the next line of code. So let's say we want it to stop just for 3 seconds. So we write 3. And once it reaches this point, it's going to stop for 3 seconds and then execute this code. Now it's time to test out the code, and I'm going to right click and now click on run. So I'm click on it, and then let's see what happens. So now the browser should be open, and first click on the all matches button, let's see, and then change to Spain. Yeah, it changed to Spain matches, and now it should be scraping all this data about match results in the Spanish league. So let's see here. Yeah, here it's printing the home teams of the Spanish league, and it's gonna take some time. So I'm gonna cut this part and show you when it's finished. Okay, now all the data was scraped, and now here is the data frame printed on the terminal, but I'm gonna show you the CSV file we created. So I'm gonna double click here on football data, and now you can see the results of the Spanish league instead of the Premier League that was by default on the website. And here you have all the data. It's around 760 rows, and yeah, let's check if the data is correct. So it starts with Alaves and Betis. Let's see here. So I changed to Spain, and it's loading. Yeah, 1-0 Alaves Betis. And let's check here. The last one is Real Madrid Villarreal 2-1. So fast check, and yeah, it's here. So congratulations, you just built your first bot using Selenium.